Oh, happy Friday. I just got done with cutting like 100 stickers. So we'll see how my wrist holds out. It was for the prizes for the extra Volnoxy readathon for my friends and I's web comics. I'm excited to get back to fairy foxes today. It's been a while. Last time we were working on the scene, we made some really good progress just kind of blocking it out. So I want to do some of these like walking animations that Mimi has. And some of the audio is a little spoilery, so I might just mute my desktop right now. Okay, so the sketch of Mimi's right here. Make a new layer on top. And then we can just kind of start animating her. So the idea is she's walking through the hallway and kind of catches Kai hanging out here. So she's walking. So let's make sure I know which foot this is. Your right foot looks like. Hi, Radius! Oh my goodness, the con was the best thing ever. I was gone at Grand Rapids Comic Con one of the last weeks, 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. I got to see a bunch of people, and there even one Fairy Foxes fan found me and was like, I've been watching Fairy Foxes since I was 5, and I'm like, oh my goodness! Fairy Foxes fan in the wild. How cool is that? It was fun to get to meet him. And then I highlight of my week was to people cosplayed my extra characters, and I am still like recovering from how cool that was. Like, yeah, they did the director and Theo, and they did such a good job. The guy who was dressed as the director did both the costumes, but they were so in character, which is really cool. Hey, it's bicycles on the moon. Welcome to the stream. Sorry for getting a bit of a late start today. Better than no start, though. Alright. I am not drawing the right character. The problem. We're off to a rough start, guys. Hi, Hannah. Thanks. Yeah, it was awesome. I gave a panel on how to make your readers cry, and I was expecting like nobody to turn up, but I actually had a really good turnout, and it went really well, and everybody was super nice, and the audience participated, and I was yeah, I had a great time with that. Should be looking the other way. And how her face is facing this way. Hi there. Cat's here to join us. Oh, yes, it is after daylight savings time, so now it gets dark at, well, maybe 4:45. But at least there's light when I wake up still, so there's that. Although even that will slowly fade away into endless darkness. The darkness never really used to get to me, but I don't know, lately as I've been getting older, it's like more and more I am a creature of the light. I increasingly feel like some kind of rare reptile where I need like the perfect temperature, the perfect amount of light, or I just shrivel up. Anybody else have that feeling? Okay, his ponytail. I don't know, would you see a ponytail here? Probably. We'll just go for it. Let's see, what other adventures have I been up to lately? Oh, I was drawing the cover for book 6 of Extra. That's pretty exciting. I'm only a few pages away from finishing it. I'm hoping for a December 1st release, but if I decide to add bonus content, I don't know if I'll be able to hit that. And it kind of needs bonus content, I'm thinking, just because it ends. I mean, it ends on a good note, but most of the book is just kind of intense, and I feel like it kind of needs that breathing room of something less intense afterwards. I completely agree. Fridays, like, schedules are always just, I don't know, people like to start stuff way earlier in the morning than I ever, like, naturally want to wake up for. But, like, I don't know, an 11 to 7 shift would be fine, I guess. Would be my ideal. That's about what I do right now, actually. 7. I am very blessed to have the opportunity to choose my own working hours. Although some days it's like 11 to 11, and some days I don't work as hard as I should, so bit of a risk there. Overdo it one way or the other. And I'm working really hard on being more consistent though. So it's a listener! Hi listener! How are you today? Have you been surviving your brutal schedule? You have a pretty brutal schedule most of the time. Yeah. Standard 6:30, 8 to 5. Acted out what my husband is on. He's very nice. He gives me a hug every morning before he leaves for work. The only time it reverses is when I have Comic Cons and I have to leave really early in the morning on a weekend, and then he gets to be the one snuggled in until whenever. Oops, I think I have cards. It's okay. This motion. It's okay. Ah, so you are not late to the stream. I basically just started. Welcome. We are working on Mimi's walk cycle here. If you can call it that. It's more like a start and stop. So I need to. She's still moving forward here, and then like the stop jerk is right there. Not to do anything weird with her hair quite yet. Try to see through this mess of lines here. Heading to the airport. What fun! Everyone loves the airport. I don't go to the airport often enough to like, I don't know, it's still kind of a rare occasion for me. So like I feel like the TSA rules change every single time I'm there. They're like, take off your shoes, don't take off your shoes, take the laptops out of the bag, don't take the laptops out of the bag. One time they like bomb dusted my pink backpack with like 100 keychains on it. That was pretty funny. Hi, popcorn. Everybody loves playing trains and automobiles. Whee! Yeah, I was looking at train tickets the other day because we have a train station somewhat nearby us, and I'm like, you know what? I've never really used a train for transportation. And turns out that our station doesn't go anywhere I want to go, and the tickets are exorbitantly priced. So I'm like, oh, I guess that explains why I've never used a train. I guess the exception is that it's in Chicago. I have ridden the Chicago trains. I could never live there. Just, ooh, so much all at once. You don't know what you're doing. It's just a nightmare. Check the pillow. See, I can ask all the questions I want, and nobody really thinks I'm threatening. And honestly, I don't have any use for the things I know, I suppose. But I would make a very good international super spy. You have a collection of all your train tickets since 2007? That's really cool. When I was little, my parents took my siblings and I on a train to Canada. I left from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and went up to Canada, and it was some kind of historic train too that like used steam still or something. It was really cool, but I was 7, so the novelty wore off really quick, and I was like, I'm gonna play Game Boy with my brother. we played we had the link cable, so we had our Game Boys and at this like the link cable, and we had a Mario game that you could play 2-player, and so you were basically fighting each other for the most points, and I just loved jumping on his head, throwing him into the trash can, and then standing on top so he couldn't like get out, and he was getting so mad on this train ride. She's got he was still, he could have only been like 4. Poor Donnie. Aw. Were there like tables on the train? How would you play cards? I don't remember there being tables on the trains I've been on, but seems like it would be nice. Your shocked face. I don't know much about Denver. Oh man, ASDF movie. Like, I always thought there were like 2 or 3 ASDF movies, and then like, oh, I looked and there were like 17 or something. Oh my goodness, they kept making them. Mm, 14. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine what kind of YouTuber would make 14 episodes of something? Absolute insanity. I've been trying to sort of think about my future on YouTube and what I want to do with it. I think I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and just use it as like a hobby space. Just the way they have things right now, it's pretty hard for a single animator to meet their monetization requirements without, giving your life over to it. And I really do enjoy doing this. For YouTube money. Don't foresee that in my future. I used to be part of the partner program, but they like strictified the requirements. But before that, I made about $90 across all my videos. Wow, I can afford. I think I was in college at the time. Like I can get some groceries. But they're like, we can't pay it out until it hits $100. Like, oh, well, so much for that. $14 is just too much. Get some new original idea. I have my novel that I am very stuck on right now. It's like, I guess I don't know, I don't have a good ending in mind for it, which I do or did with Extra and Fairy Foxes, so I can keep working on it because I know the ending, but I don't know the ending of my novel. So I was going really strong in the beginning, and then I just kind of hit the center point. I don't know where to go from there. Gotta work that out. But it's kind of fun to have something you're stuck on. Shop it out a bit. Wait for inspiration to strike. The conversation after the failed attempt at murder. Gonna be good. Fear that this conversation won't resolve quite everything, but it should kickstart drama between them a little bit. Maybe more than what's already there. Yesterday, I listened to the entirety of a high school production of Matilda the musical, and I love the story and the movie Matilda. one of my favorite kids' books. I don't know. They did some cute things in the musical to like adapt it for a musical, but it was just overall kind of irritating. Like, I do not feel like it missed the mark. Maybe it's just not meant to be a stage production. That got me thinking about what really makes a good musical versus a bad one. Obviously, the music is probably your central culprit. But musicals have like a unique like challenge in that you have to express a lot of things through songs that are usually like either unspoken in movies, you leave it to the visuals, or outright described in the book. Oh, on the recent event, how does it go? And everyone is reading and commenting on my thing, like extra. It is really fun because it's kind of rare that people do a binge and leave comments. People either leave comments like once in a while, or binge it and just don't say anything. So having people read the entire comic start to finish and leave comments, it's like as a writer, you finally get to experience what other people are experiencing from a reader's perspective, and that's just really special and cool and exciting. Nothing like it. Because, like, it's really meant to be read kind of all at once and not piecemeal. It's easy to like forget details until it's like finally people are gonna remember that one detail from 100 pages ago if you read it all at once. You get to see people's reactions to it real time. Also, it's just kind of a fun way to interact with readers because sometimes I like to hole up and you know not talk to anybody. If you are standing in the middle of the screen, you can't be in the middle of the screen. I'm sorry. I know. Extra is in a pretty juicy part right now. If you guys are not caught up with Extra, I am in the process of almost drowning them in a vehicle that went off the side of a cliff. Terrifying every page. Be juicy. I think I think every author like is like internally squeeing when they get comments. At least I am. Like I'm a lot more guarded with my reactions now, I think, than I used to be. But like internally, I'm just Like whenever I get a comment, I'll draw how I feel inside. It's more like, comment. This is not a good representation. Like, what have people this are people saying about it? Great intrigue. My favorite kind of comments are just like the pure raw, like either reaction comments or like the guessing theories, the longer the word count, the better sort of thing. I used to have a commenter on my sketch page who he was a very strange person, but he would comment nice and funny on pages that weren't nice or funny. Like somebody is bleeding out and he's like, funny. Or, somebody's pouring out their heart and it's like their tragic backstory is like, nice. Oh, hi, Changeling. Yeah, bicycles on the move. I really like your comments because you just kind of share what's on your mind, and that's the kind of comment that I get excited about. You'll never sleep right again. Knowing how much you miss. Yeah, we just put away the circus. Sorry, Changeling. You were so sure Akko was gonna catch the van. That was an option for that scene. I did heavily consider having Akka come in and save them, but I did not for reasons you will soon find out. Really like her shape here. I have to sort of she starts coming in, walking forward, but we'll do that part later. Actually, that's the end of the difference. So on the Fairy Fox's Discord, there's been a lot of discussion about Staria lately. There's a character in the prequel of Fairy Foxes, which I have started many, many, many times and never gotten very far with it. because I just, well, one, it's too big and I need to shorten it down. And two, I'm not really sure what medium to like put it in. Like, do I do a music video or a comic or another whole animated series? Yeah, this is the sorry, switching gears to what Natalie just said. Yeah, this is the biggest edit I've done so far because I got a lot of reader feedback that the sketch version just wasn't working and I wasn't happy with it in this part, so I just completely gutted this whole scene and redid it. So don't read the sketch version of this scene. The moral of the story. Everybody pours over to read the sketch version. The sketch version is just kind of a little contrived and not, it didn't really fit the theme or the feeling of the scene. Hopefully this splice is a little better. Maybe. I've done a few edits and extras so far. I don't know how many people have noticed, but I cut a page and I changed just a couple of pages entirely, swapped them around. Okay, having multiple parallel histories at once. I ran the draft version of Extra through a ton of beta readers, just like random, like family members, friends, strangers, and I would sort of like study their reactions to different parts, and most parts run pretty okay. Some were really good, and this particular part just like got kind of a few like reactions, more than I was hoping. And then on a reread is like, yeah, I kind of get it. Also, apparently, like everybody and their dog has seen like the Mythbusters car escaping episode. So, in the original version, I had Alexis panicking a little more. You know, she couldn't get the doors open, and because everybody and their dog knows that you can't open the door until the pressure equalizes inside the car. But everybody was like, "Oh no, she gotta wait. You gotta wait till the pressure equalizes. Why don't like?" I'm like, I know that. Alexis doesn't know that, but still, like, it was a big hang up for most people. And after the 12th person brought it up to me, like, all right, we're just gonna let Alexis know it too. Yeah, see, it was a point of contention for many people. Yeah, characters are allowed to not know things, but like some, I guess in the heat of the moment, like you kind of want the character to know certain things, especially if you know them already. Like everybody should know this. And sometimes as an author, you're gonna have to randomly guess what percentage of people know about a thing. If everybody knows about it, then it's kind of frustrating if the character doesn't. Kind of nobody knows about it. Like your character can know it, but if they act like everybody knows about it, it could, be jarring or uncomfortable. I don't want to not know things. Corgi! Narrators are also. Now that's a little trickier. For one part, I had to do this whole like crash course on quantum mechanics, and I love learning about that stuff. But then like having to regurgitate it in a way that makes sense to other people. Like, time to pull out the pseudoscience hat. I'm really excited for that part though, because I think it's gonna be really cool in color. Okay. Get your wings in. Texas has watched a lot of TV. Mostly Aqua Defenders, which is she can draw her knowledge off of. Uh, oh yeah, you're doing like one of those like comment driven comics, right? What web comics? I was looking at yours a little bit. It was really cute. I think it makes more sense for the narrator to sort of be pulled along with the story in something like that. But if you're just kind of playing it straight, you're just writing a traditional story. Usually the narrator should have full control of the situation, or at least the knowledge of it. The narrator should be somewhat omniscient. Give me the angry wings. So something I've always wanted to do is like officially license the butterfly song, but I cannot find out for the life of me who actually owns it. I think it might be UMG, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, poor sleepy corgi. 2 hours, you got this. You can do it. I believe in you. Hey, baby. Let's see how this looks without the sketch. Alright, so now we've got the basic frames in there. I want to do more detail on when she actually stops. And maybe a couple frames in here where she's stepping. I don't mind this transition just because it's going to be hard for me to make that look natural, and just the snap to the position looks okay. You know, I might take her ponytail off and do that on a separate layer. And maybe her bangs too, actually. I'll make this one. I just want to do like a little gentle swish, I guess. River has a lot of different meows. She's very expressive. She's pretty relaxed right now. River? Yeah. She was absolutely psychotic earlier though. Attacking anything that moved. She almost ran across my sticker pile, but I diverted her. I can't. But yeah, I'm really excited for book 6 of Extra. I can't believe there's almost 6 of them. A bunch of people were asking about book 6 at Comic Con. We don't have it! I really, really meant to have it, and it just didn't happen. This book has just been very taxing. It's loud. Kepler doesn't meow, he squeaks. That's so cute. My other cat, Tempe, she has the wimpiest meow. Or when she's getting attacked by River, she goes, it's very sad. Tempe, fight back. sometimes Tempe starts the fights and then acts like the victim. Alex. Oh, that looked pretty good actually. A little bit more space before that scene change. It's my greatest weakness is just like not leaving enough breathing room between the shot changes. Hard to pick what's right though. Cool. So, so the next thing we need to do is this. She starts walking forward, and after that frame, and then she continues walking right here. I want to do the walking animation next. We'll do that. Get through. Oh, thanks, Moonbite. I appreciate it. Alright, so Kai's just hanging out over there. And we'll just draw this frame directly as it is in the sketch. And animate around it. I was messing with 3D a little bit yesterday. I was working a little more on my Roji. I might actually still be up. He's in a very terrifying stage right now. But I'm just like having trouble figuring out how to model his fluff, which is the same problem I had with fairy foxes. Just like, oops. Like, their hair doesn't really translate well to 3D, which is mostly my fault for, making impossible hair. That is like this 3-prong thing. We'll get it. I was making some really weird materials though. I I was trying to make it toony, but I mean I did eventually, but to get there, it made some very horrifying textures that looked kind of psychedelic. I have a mostly working Kai model, but he has a similar issue and I don't really know how to do his fluff. I tried modeling it and like, which is fine, but it doesn't like react to things. It's just kind of plasticky. And there's like simulated fluff, which looks cool, I guess, but I don't know how to stylize it yet. The idea for the 3D models is I'd actually like to do animations with them or print them out, because right now on my con table I'm using a very battle-worn Theo plushie, and I'd like to replace him with like a 3D printed model. And when they have like Alexis and Xavier and Reggie and Theo. The theory boxes, I was hoping to use them for animations, or maybe even like just make them look so much like 2D that I could use them in place of drawing them every time. Then I could just kind of focus on animating them. But I really like value the charm of 2D animation, so I'd have to find a way to balance it so I didn't lose that. Maybe draw their faces or something. My thoughts are to like just do a music video with in 3D just to like get my sea legs with it and force me to actually learn how to work with it. It was pretty nice to have those 3D dragons in the last episode, even though I don't think I did a spectacular job making them 2D-ish enough. It was very nice to not have to draw them 100 times. There's gonna be an action-heavy scene in this episode, and I'm scared of having to draw it all. It's way too big. I do want to make like a painted HDR though, a 3D sky, because that would be a lot nicer for an action sequence, I think. Hi Ethan, welcome to the stream. We're working more on the Mimi and Kai scene today. I really want their backgrounds to look kind of painted. Ideally, in a perfect world. I like fancy digital art. Oftentimes, though, by the time I choose a background, I'm just tired and I want it done. Oh my goodness, what would I do without undoing and editing? Oh, speaking of which, I was at a computer store last week and I was like, oh, I want to see what the new MS Paint looks like. I opened it up. You know what they have now? Layers! Kids these days don't know how good they have it. Like, it took until 2023 for Microsoft to add layers to MS Paint. Like, the first time I had an art program that had layers, I cried. Happy tears of joy. And now it just comes standard. Hallelujah. Yeah, like so I was messing around with the new MS Paint because the iteration just before the newest one had, actually let me just show you, as this horrible default pen that uses aliasing, so you know you draw your whatever and it leaves all these little white dots inside your fill. And the one from 1998 does not do that. It starts you off with the pencil, which does not have aliasing. So when you fill it, you get, you know, a perfect fill. Which, like, this makes sense if you have layers or an overfill bucket. But this is not an overfill bucket. This is like basic bucket fill. But what it does have instead of layers is it has this double color system, and like if you have, I don't know, some colors overlapping, you can say that like the white is clear. At least you used to be able to. In the old MS Paint 1998, it would take the second color as the transparent one. I guess it doesn't in this one. This is just the worst iteration of MS Paint. Transparent selection. Maybe that's it. Yeah, there you go. But you have to actually select the option to do that. This is how I would cheat layers into fairy foxes. It's just using that second color transparency. Ogres do have layers. What was it? Oh, here it is. I have an ancient laptop from 1998. I named it Godzilla. And it was my dad's, but he got a new one, and so he gifted that one to me for Christmas one year, which was like the best Christmas present ever. And so I spent like all the next year staying up way too late on it, writing stories, and I would make stuff in MS Paint, and then I would drop it in the Movie Maker. So I have a ton of videos that, you know, never got uploaded to YouTube. Just sitting on that laptop. None of them are real winners or anything, but it's funny to look back at them and see like my pictures drawn with a trackpad at 2 a.m. when I was like 10. For Windows XP is almost the same as for Windows 98. With one thing where it automatically resizes pictures without asking when you paste something bigger. Ooh, I don't remember it resizing too much. Like I would sometimes open up pictures in it to play with the color picking tool. But really, MS Paint is not much of a photo editor. I remember opening a GIF and being really sad that it wasn't playing. I had never seen a GIF before, and somehow my mom like used one in a blog or something, and I was like, "How did you do that?" And I found the file and carefully opened it up in MS Paint. It was static. I was crushed. I think I downloaded an old version of Paint on this computer, but like, I don't think I installed it right, and it opened and it was very corrupty. It's the best word to describe it. Not all the icons were in the right place, and the cursor was kind of flashing in and out. And yeah, alright. The program I'm most sad about losing is Movie Maker 6.0. It was a beautiful program that came packed with windows. It was just a basic video editor. It could do just about everything you wanted. Back when you couldn't download your favorite video editor for a small fee or whatever. I don't think DaVinci Resolve existed either. But nowadays they have Windows Movie Maker Live, which, you know, have you seen those posts where it's like people compete to make the worst UI ever? And like stuff with a volume slider where you have to like catapult it onto the bar correctly or something. I feel like they did one of those and picked the worst one for Windows Movie Maker Live. Oh, the transitions. I miss old Movie Maker transitions. My favorite one ever was the one that exploded into cubes that came towards you. I downloaded this really shady app that like promised to give you uh more effects for 30 days and then you could like buy it or something, but it was super duper shady. But I used it as much as possible for fairy foxes because it had basically layers, because Windows Movie Maker didn't ever have layers. And I was able to get some cool shots. I want to say it was in episode 5. Yeah, because I needed like Mark flying over the supermarket and stuff, and I couldn't just put him on top of the image. I didn't have a second timeline, so I had my shady green screen effect. Okay, so since she's talking this whole time, I need to chop off her lower jaw. Sorry, Mimi. When you talk so much that your mouth disappears. Is that what happened to Juna in Exilnero? I use 2 video editors mainly now. I mean, besides this animation editor. I use mainly Sony Vegas, that's my favorite, and then I use Hit Film too for more heavy duty effects. Da Vinci is a very good choice. I invested in my Sony Vegas, I guess about 10 years ago now. And it's been very good. I'm trying to remember the first thing I made with it. Was it episode 10? I think it was episode 10. I don't watch episode 10 very much because there was a lot of stress in my life at that time, and it just like gives me PTSD to watch it. It's not a bad episode, I just have too many bad memories. Ugh. That's why the style goes all wonky. But I think the happiest episode is like 5, at least for me to watch. Any of the like early episodes just make me really happy to remember all the fun we had making them. the newer episodes are still too fresh, so I'm always like looking at like how I could have matched up the background better, how I missed somebody's tail in the background. Like, so once that wears off, I think I'll like the new ones too. Yeah, it's weird how many memories get kind of baked into everything. Wow, that's an interesting connection to make. In in my high school psychology class, my teacher was telling us about Pavlov and how, you can connect your memories to stimuli like that. And so she gave us like a bit of lemon powder, like lemonade powder in a bowl in front of us. And she's like, every time I say the word Pavlov, I want you to, take a little lick of your lemonade powder. And so she, gave us the whole spiel, and we're just chugging lemonade powder by the end. And then the supposed result would be that every time you hear the word Pavlov, you taste the lemonade powder again. But it's never quite worked that way for me. But now every time I hear the word Pavlov, I think of that experiment. I don't taste the lemonade, but I do think of eating a ton of lemonade. So maybe it did work in the end in some other form. Arms up a little more. Get out of my swamp! Let's see how that looks if I This does not need to be there. And I mixed up the legs. Oops. Let's try that again. Danger of going on autopilot. I just mindlessly draw over whatever sketch is there. Okay. I feel like this will count for reviews and try there. The size is too different. There we go. Let's see if that sketch, wherever the sketch may be. Okay. That's a very good start. Now I can sort of do the in-betweens. This is Mimi. She is very unhappy. Hides in her library reading her books. I still haven't decided if I want him to like steal the book he's reading. I think it would be funny, but like also he doesn't really need to steal it. It would just be to prove a petty point. To decide if Kai's that petty. Have I ever told you guys the wonderful tale of getting stuck in small town traffic with the 1940s humor book? If not, I'm gonna tell you right now. It all started when we went to, it was, I think, my friend and my sister and my husband and I, we all went to an estate sale. And I found this book just like lying on the ground at like the bottom of a pile of stuff. and all it said on the cover was humor. There's like no author, nothing else other than the word humor on this like faded old book cover. And open it up, and it's all jokes from the 1940s or before, like alphabetical, and almost none of them are funny. Like, they're just the most miserable jokes that barely make any sense. Or maybe they made sense back then, but they sure don't now. Or even if they do make sense, it's just not a funny connection. And so, of course, I bought it for 25 cents. It's what better way to, you know, enjoy time with your friends and read them unfunny 1940s jokes. On our way home, we we live in a kind of a small town area, which normally takes maybe 5 minutes to drive through, but the big town event was going on, like the one that people come from 3 different states to come visit. And so like the roads were blocked off and it was just like wall to wall traffic, and we were stuck in traffic for 2 hours, and I just decided I'd entertain them, and I read them. I just kept reading them these horrible jokes. It was really fun for me. They still I still threaten them with the book once in a while. Inching our way through gobs. There goes. I wonder where that book is right now. I had to relocate it. I wish I could remember even a single joke from the book. They're really just that unfunny. I emptied them from my mind. You could look them up by topic though, which was interesting. I kind of want her to scratch a little more before stomping. That's too sudden. I just back this all up. Ooh, I like that. A little pause before she stops is good. Let's leafy river on my desk. One more big scratch. I've been trying, like I was saying earlier, I've been trying to decide what to do about breaker of the code. Half of me says like just make it a comic, and the other half says just make it animated but shorter than Fairy Fox's. Like just do like 3 straight episodes. I don't know if I could cram it into 3 episodes. Maybe 5. Another part of me is like, just make it a music video and be done with it. One more. Frame. I follow a bunch of professional animators on Twitter, and they always post like, oh yeah, just casually worked on Spirit at DreamWorks, and we just slapped some of these 17 acrylic paintings on a background and used state-of-the-art 3D, no big deal. Like, holy cow, these people are crazy and so cool. I always get inspired by other animators. Makes you want to try to push the limits of what I do, but then I'm like, I would never get anything done if I like just worked on a shot like that and polished it to perfection. I am enjoying like actually doing a little more quote unquote real animation for this episode. Normally I just kind of do this hashy storyboardy animation. Although what people consider storyboards these days, my goodness. Be like, oh, here's a storyboard I just created. It's like a complete animation, just minus the color. Your definition of boarding is a little different than mine. Oh, I like the way that looks. And let's put in her rings. There's some people who are doing these crazy cool things with Blender. And like, part of me wants to sit down for 3 weeks and learn what they're doing so I can do it too. And part of me is like, it'll take 3 weeks. Yeah, Blender is just an overwhelming program. Like, I've used it for a few years now. So now I know it's games, and I know where to look when things go wrong. But just the time it takes to get to a place of understanding is a lot. Blender Guru just released his new donut tutorial for 4.0 though. I occasionally retake the donut tutorial, which is where everybody should start if they plan on learning Blender. I don't know anything about geometry nodes, so it'd be good to get a fresh start on it. Yeah, Jules has got full Blender head. We always send each other our Blender adventures. The farthest I ever got was I think Theo Xavier. Oh, I got pretty far with Kai too. Like, I could probably animate something with my Theo model, but he's got some jankiness that's keeping me from doing it. His IK isn't completely in, which is what you use to like so you have forward kinematics. Say this is a foot. Forward kinematics, you could like grab the toe and like move it like that, or grab, you know, the leg and move it like that. But inverse kinematics is like, imagine there's like a string here, and if you grab the toe, you can move the entire leg like that. And so it's really important for animation, especially if like you have a character holding on to something and you just want the thing to stay in place. You want, you know, to have that control. But to set it up on a rig without like, you know, the knees pointing opposite directions is hard. You have to like put in all these extra bones and make sure they're all pointing the right way and targeting everything. It's just a pain. But I finally did it. I don't think I did it completely right. I did it on the fairy foxes, dragons, and every time I had them like leave the ground, their legs would stay targeted to like the ground half the time, even though their target bones were here and I didn't know what was going on. So, like, you know what, you can have stiff legs, and so you can see it in the, you can see it in the final. The stiff leg dragons as they fly away. Okay, I like this animation. I like her little stance here. Okay. I'm trying to decide what to do next. Do I color or do I plow ahead and do more animation? I don't like this animation very much. I think it's either missing something or just like the wings aren't right. It's mostly a talking animation, but he does have a few subtle movements. You know what? How about we just color her? That's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Especially since we got all the colors right here. Go get rid of the background. After drawing lots of extra, I always have the like instinct to draw Roji's little triangle on their nose. And Andre does actually have it. So there's a chance that I'll do it correctly. And then coloring probably. It's really nice to be back at Fairy Fox's for a while. Yep, got a nose. Inevitably, I'll probably forget a piece of her tail or her bow or something. Just do the best I can. It's amazing, like, how you can work on this for hours and hours and hours, and then you see it about 100 times as you're editing, and things still slip through. Missing limbs. Missing wings. Are there wings limbs? Doesn't look like I ever colored her wings. I kind of changed like how I do their wings almost every episode to mix it up. I wanted to try doing like some 3D wings, but I don't know, my first attempt with Zoe didn't go so well. I'll keep trying it. Here we go. Let's see how that looks all together. Hey, she looks pretty good. Matches her voice line too, although you can't hear it. Oh, thank you. I like doing that effect, and hopefully when I export it, it'll be a little transparent so you can see the background behind it. I really don't like her wings there. Maybe it's they're doodly or something. Boop, 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 boop. So that's I So the way I used to export this in the past episodes was I would make the background a very specific hot pink because that was the color least used in the characters. And so I could use the hot pink as like a green screen or pink screen in this case and composite them onto the rest of everything. Unfortunately, Mimi is purple and for some reason the computer does not differentiate between hot pink and this very light purple as much as I would like it to. And so Mimi always gets a little bit transparent. I use that method. It was a huge pain and I had to make a separate mask just for Mimi to get it to go away. Yes, I can customize what the transparent color is, but whatever this color is that I use for Mimi, it associate it like it bleeds over into whatever this color is, and I don't know what calculations it uses to, I don't know, decide what color to eliminate, but I tried all of the little tolerance levels and everything, and I could get it so where it would have her, but then it would leave a little pink haze around her like this. Like, well, that doesn't look good either. Because it was taking the aliasing out as well. So I'm not sure what I'll do this time. I might just have to suck it up and do the Mimi mask. It was episode 12, I think. It was just like slamming my head against the wall. Like, why? Why is she transparent no matter what I do? Alright. I have to do a separate folder for that, which is very annoying. Hi, baby. Trying to destroy my one good pair of jeans, are you? That's your evil plan. see. I am excited to try some new fire effects in this episode. I don't know how, like, what percentage I'll do of just animating the effects versus trying to do something weird with hip film or Blender. But I'd like to try something fancier than I've done in the past. He can get some cool moments at the end. Okay, now we can do the little ponytail swish. Ponytail swish. Swish. Ponytail swish. This is where I descend into madness after animating for approximately 2 hours. It's not even very long. I did just cut 100 stickers though, so maybe I'm already halfway there. Who is your guys' current favorite fairy fox? Throw a poll out there. Curious who the top fox is right now. Kiki! One vote for Kiki. I like Kiki an awful lot. I always knew you were a secret pyromaniac. Bicycles on the moon. I still haven't done my own voice line. So I've been unable to do scenes with Zoe in them. Like, oh, I'll do a scene with, a scene with Kiki and Mimi and Zoe. Like, wait, I haven't done my voice acting. Should do that. Maybe when we're done with the Mimi and Kai. We'll do that one next. There we go. Let's see it all together. Hey! It's coming along. We're standing in a void still, but that's okay. Next time, maybe we'll do Kai's acting bit here. Maybe both of them. I need to decide how I want to do the lighting effect too. Might be a hit film thing. By the way, my name is Mark. That is a very classic one. It's blown out about 100 speakers directly following it. Every time I show it to people, I like my trigger finger on the volume. I can only imagine what it's done to complete strangers' speakers. Oh well. Anyway, so next week we'll work on this one. Make good progress. Let's go get the progress sheet. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Oh, this is Kai. We don't have all the lines in, but we have some of the lines. We'll make that orange. We don't have all the colors. We have some of the color. The sound's actually mostly in. BG's a work in progress. Absolutely nothing there. Nothing there. Oh, that's more than we had before. That's the sound effects. That's video effects. But we don't have either of those. Cool. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I just don't like all of episode one. I don't think of it as words anymore. It's just more of an ethereal experience. But yeah, it doesn't really answer the question, does it? Anyway, make me tired. Yeah, I just wrote in whatever I felt like. It's not actually Mimi's diary. I don't feel like putting in the true title right now. Cool. Alright, guys, I am going to sign off and try to finish an extra page tonight. We'll see how that goes. I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening and thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. I'll see you around. See you on Tuesday for extra on Twitch.